What up, gang? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you. It is Wednesday afternoon. I hope that everybody's doing well today. I wanted to talk for just a little bit about a couple of things that, well, the title of the video is that they piss me off. They don't necessarily, well, one of them pisses me off. One of them is not something that so much pisses me off. It's something that I'm very inquisitive about, and I have lots of questions regarding. Now, I put that in the title just so you'd watch, just so you know. Anyway, getting right into it. First of all, I want to talk about South Carolina baseball a little bit. This is probably the last time you're going to hear me talk about South Carolina baseball again the rest of this season, just barring some unforeseen news on the horizon with it. As we get closer and closer now, deeper into spring practice, it'll soon become time to start doing some game-by-game prediction videos for some of the teams that Carolina plays, the one for Carolina, for the Taters, and then for whoever else I'll have time to fit in. Every year I say I'm going to try to do 10 this year, and I always let my mouth overshoot what I'm actually able to do. Last year I think we did like 4 or 5, so I'll try to get in at least that many this year, if not more. I'd like to do more. I'd like to do one every day. I'd like to do it full time and do them all the time, but that's just not possible. Anyway, South Carolina baseball. Yesterday, old Sports Talk Jabroni on his channel put out a video about South Carolina baseball and, you know, what in the world is the problem there. And he made a lot of good points in his video, and he used some data and facts to back it up, which was refreshing. However, some of his commentary was a little bit off base. Mainly what was off base in it was the time frame there that he was referencing, and talking about how South Carolina's baseball program has fallen from grace, and Tennessee's has kind of simultaneously risen to the top of the college baseball world. That's not entirely true. South Carolina's baseball program started falling apart as soon as Ray Tanner let go of the program and became the athletic director back in 2012 into 2013. So that's not entirely true. South Carolina's baseball program has been in free fall for quite some time. Tennessee really has just risen to national prominence in about the past 4 years or so. So those time frames don't really match up that well. But I kind of get what you're saying, that Tennessee is on top right now, and South Carolina was once where Tennessee is. And quite frankly, there is no damn excuse why they shouldn't be where they're at right now. Okay? They are not dumping the amount of money into the baseball program that they used to. It's glaringly obvious by the results on the field. It's glaringly obvious with the coaching staff. This is just, it's dysfunctional. It's the only way that I can put it. And yeah, they're winning their midweek games. You saw them last night. They beat Presbyterian 11-1. When in the past, they've dropped some of those midweek games. They even dropped some of those midweek games when they were fielding really, really good teams and going to the College World Series in 2010 and 11 and winning it, and 2012 and being the runner-up. But the thing is, you got to take into account, when it was 2010, 11, and 12, they knew that every weekend that they were going to be a series that they probably would be able to win. So they were going to make sure that they had their best pitchers and their best foot forward going into those weekend series. If there was a weak link, they would throw them in that Wednesday game or that Tuesday game, whatever it was, against Winthrop or COC or whoever. Now that he knows that he better put his best foot forward in these weekday games, because he probably ain't going to win a damn one during the week or on the weekend in terms of in conference play, or may win 1 out of 3. That's what we're shooting for. I think that's what they're shooting for right now, is like the bar. which is just sickening to me. But this experiment with this old guy is just not working out. And you can sit here and say, well, they've played good teams, Carolina Jack, but Oklahoma's in the top 10, and Tennessee's ranked number 1, and Arkansas's ranked number 2. That's where we used to be. I don't want to hear that. That's a piss poor excuse. And when you listen to this old fart in these damn interviews, and I'm not going to try to knock him too much because he seems like a nice guy. I mean, he seems to have the team's best interests at heart, but he's just... Sports Talk Jabroni was talking about how he just questions the passion and the fire and the energy, and I get that, and I agree with that part. I absolutely agree with that. He's sitting here in an interview talking about, well, you know, and I won't replay the press conferences for your clips of it. I'm just going to do my impression of it. Well, when I looked at our schedule and I saw, man, we had to go to Arkansas, and wow, then we got to play Tennessee, and boy, I sure will be glad when the month of March is over. This was your chance to shine, dipshit. This was your chance to shine, and you came out looking like a petrified turd. The bullpen is terrible. Your hitting is terrible. It's just an absolute abomination. And until they start dumping some money into that program again, they start getting serious about the baseball program and winning again. So, I'll say something here that's probably going to be a little bit unpopular. They continue to dump more and more money into this women's basketball program just because you know it's going to be good every year. Just keep in mind, there's a lot of eyes on that. There's a lot of eyes on the fact that we can't be good at baseball anymore. It quite frankly sucks. Baseball is America's pastime. We all grew up watching it. It was probably, if you're like me, it was probably the first sport you ever actually saw, like in person, or actually played as a youth. Same thing for me. Baseball was like, I knew who the Atlanta Braves were before I knew who the South Carolina Gamecocks were, as weird as that may sound. So, a lot of us want to see the national pastime come back to Columbia in a strong way. But the Joe Biden of baseball is not going to get it done. It doesn't matter how much you like him. It doesn't matter what he did at St. Thomas Trinity College back in 1981, or how many years he was at Notre Dame and how much success he had there. This guy has coached for a long time. He should never have been brought out of retirement. Bar none. I don't think they win an SEC series all year. Now, getting into something else. This is not so much something that pisses me off. It's something that I have a lot of questions about. I was sent a clip today from someone about the Syracuse coach, Fran Brown, and his son, who has apparently reclassified to the 2025 class and is going through spring practice at Syracuse. The wide receiver. He's 16 years old. 16. Now, that's not that far-fetched, because if they've reclassified and they graduated early, they graduated in December from high school, so they roughly went to 2.5 years of high school, they would be 16 years old. Now, I turned 17 in December of my junior year in high school, so that's a little bit earlier than most. Some of them graduate, I mean, you'll see a lot of kids with March, April, May birthdays, and then they turn 17. What is the wave of all this? Where's all this coming from? And South Carolina's got 2 of them that are coming in this year, too, that have reclassified from the 26 class to the 2025 class. This wide receiver, Donovan Murph, who actually isn't on campus yet. I believe he still has to finish up his junior year. But there's another one, Jordan Gideon, I can't remember exactly what his last name is, that's also reclassified now. And Beamer was talking in the press conference yesterday that they're mature. They're mature for 11th graders and this and that and other. I don't know how much I'm buying all of this, and I'm wondering what's going on exactly in these schools to where these kids are able to graduate so quickly. He can sit here, they can sit here and tell you all night long, all they do is study and play football, and that's why they're so smart. They're able to get all their credits in. I don't believe it, man. I think it's a load of bullshit, and I'm wondering where the grades are coming from and how these kids are getting done so quick, because, I mean, I had a 3.0 average for most of high school, and I can sit here and tell you I wasn't ready to graduate at the end of my junior year. I mean, how are they ready to graduate at the end of their junior years or in December of their junior year? How are they getting pushed through the system so quick? Who is greasing the palms of the administrators in these high schools and these teachers in these high schools? Because I don't believe for one single solitary minute that all these dudes are smart enough to finish up all those credit hours to be able to graduate high school that early. I'm just not. There's a lot of money that goes into college football, and I'm all for it. Okay, I'm all for the NIL. I'm all for the dudes getting compensated for what they do. It's BS that they've been doing this for years and years and years and making all kind of money for these schools, and they weren't able to do it. Okay, that's cool. Now they're getting that. And okay, I think it's great that they're able to transfer when they decide they might want to go somewhere else and explore options somewhere else, or somewhere else is going to pay me a little bit more or take care of me a little better. I get that. Okay, I think that you should be able to do it one time though, and then there's a penalty for doing it after that, because it's totally out of control. And we're also starting to see right now a lot more of these schools. You're not seeing as many transfer. I didn't see as many big impact transfers like this year in the December cycle, December to January cycle, as I saw the previous couple of years. And I think that's because these teams are paying these dudes now and retaining their services. They're keeping them. They figure it's going to be a lot easier for me to just go on ahead and pay Dylan Stewart this $1.5 to $2 million he's asking for, rather than try to go out and find another kid like this in the transfer portal when I may not be able to, and he's already familiar with our culture and already familiar with our system. So I need to pay Lenoris this money, and I'm just using those for examples. But there's something funny going on with the reclassifying. Why would you be wanting to do it anyway? I mean, are they? Is it because do they really think that the services of these guys is that important and it's that vital and that game changing that we get them in here a year early? I'm not buying it, and I think it's something that really needs to be looked at, because when you get to college, them handing you grades is one thing, and we all know that happens everywhere. But to be handing grades out in high school just so you can quote unquote graduate early, and I have no concrete proof of this. I have no knowledge that it's happening anywhere, but it just seems awful funny that it's all of a sudden just now happening as we enter, or not as we enter, as we have already entered this wild, wild west version of college sports. I think it's awful strange and funny. I think that there are some people in some high places in some of these secondary educational systems across America that may be doing some things that they might not ought be doing, if you get what I'm saying. Just think about it, guys. Have you ever met any college athletes? You ever met any in person? I have. And they're not always the sharpest tools in the shed. I'm just going to go on ahead and say it. Nice guys, good players, good human beings. Nothing wrong with them there. But they might not always be the sharpest tool in the shed. And I talked to an individual today that attended a certain university here in the upstate of South Carolina at one point in time. That might be able to tell me, or that actually did tell me, that a couple of superstars from past teams of that particular institution read on about a 5th grade level, but passed the class with 100. Have a great day. I'll see y'all later. Peace. I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. Woo!